Yuki, floor is yours, or the screen is yours, whatever. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for sorry, the introduction, and also say thank you for inviting me to this seminar. I'm very honored to be here, and then I'm glad to see the faces of other educators, hopefully, here as well. Let me just share my screen. The question and answer could be at the end, or if anybody wants to ask me something, I'll be glad to answer.
Yeah, it's better to postpone it to the end of your talk.
Okay.
That would be better.
Okay. All right. So, as an educator, I wanted to, I've been thinking a lot about AI's impact on education, and, so does everybody else probably in here. But as I, talk more about it, as I think more about it, as I talk with other people about it, as I hear more about, what other people are doing, what I am doing, I come always to, seems like, to this core question of what is education, and also what, my roles, are, especially in higher education, as an educator. So, AI is here and, really here to stay, but also we are here to stay. And that's why I chose this title, human-centered AI use, because we're humans, and, nothing is taking over us, and nothing, is overtaking us either. We're here. We are the educators. We're educating young people. So, we are also here to stay, and that's, we are the one who's prevailing here. So I wanted to, excuse me, I wanted to emphasize this human-centered, aspects of education and the importance of this human interaction. Like 2 years ago, I think it's 2023, right? Like when all this AI evolution, not evolution, but like, how do you say, tools became available to everybody. And then like after that, we're like, what is this? We are kind of shocked and also appalled by, the tools. And then after that, I felt like, we're in chaos. Everybody's going around each other. Everybody's all over the place. And,
Tamam hocam birazdan arayayım ben sizi. Görüşürüz.
and, I felt like we're the running around with the, chicken without head, excuse my, expression, but I felt like that. But now I feel like, after 2 years, after talking with many people and after communicating, supporting with each other, I feel like we're in kind of, slowly conversion to the more coherent, orbit about this topic. But it's still kind of in orbit because nobody's, actually able to get to the center. I feel like that now. So I want to share some practices that I found useful and that I heard, people using. But also I want to, really think about the core of what we do and how we should be using AI, how students should be using AIs. So yes, who am I? I asked my ChatGPT to see what it knows about me. And this is a picture of me that my ChatGPT gave. So I'm asking a lot of, questions about student-centered activities and, I don't know, active learning, I don't know, think, pair, share activity type of things, where I'm always asking about that. But it also knows that I'm an astrophysicist. So this is kind of accurate description or the expression of me in a sense. It does look like me, right? And also it's I'm an astrophysicist doing gamma ray astronomy using space telescope. And I work with students, but in my students, usually, I have them talk with each other and, they collaborate and we, guide them. That's my approach. So it knows me. So this is me, my representation. And also, so as a, educator, I really, I put an importance of this human interaction in learning. And also I started thinking about, okay, so what is my relation between, me and AI? And I was thinking, is there any way to express my feeling about how I'm doing and how I'm feeling about this AI tool? So I again asked ChatGPT to generate a funny cartoon that shows how professors or like us, we are underwater with the generative AI tools available to everybody, which is undermining education learning, but some of us are swimming well, some of us are drowning. And it gave me this one. And I think this again is, good representation of how I'm feeling. Sometimes I feel like I'm swimming really well. I'm, like, oh, this is pretty good tool. And like the other day, I was feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna do this anymore because this is so exhausting. So, I feel that everybody is kind of very similar situation. But then you see this student, you see this? Thanks, AI. This is so easy. Like this is a student. Um, that was my favorite part of this, picture. But, I thought it's good to talk about how we're doing and, as a university, level educators, it's not necessarily sharing practices, but like just talking about it, really helps. I found that. So recently, like Kushato just said, we organized this learner-centered approaches in college education in the AI era. That was the 3-day workshop at Sabancı University. And some people from our universities and some faculty members from other universities, they attended. And before this, we did some pre-survey of, AI practice. What do you do? How do you use AI tools? And, what are your needs? And since it's, the AI era, we had dedicated half a day session on AI in education. And this is kind of summary of the pre-workshop survey. A lot of people are using it for preparation and planning. Some use it for student engagement. Some use it for assessment assessment creation, like it's some multiple choice or easier assessments, I guess. And some are using it for students, for learning, the scaffolding students learning, like AI tutor or something like that here. And the needs. So you see here the integrating GI into specific courses and also student AI interaction in class. That was highlighted as needs. And then looking at this and listening to the discussion and listening to the example, it was workshops that some people are showing how to do like AI tutor, for example, and then we were doing it all together. But while I'm doing that, I was thinking, yes, AI is here, but do I have to use it? That's always the question that I have at the base. Yes, I kind of have to use it because it's here, the society has adapted. But then, on the other side, I always feel like, maybe I don't have to use it. So, this is a summary from the survey that was done last year with Digital Education Council. You have probably seen or heard something like this, probably many times by now. But you see the AI is very widely used in industry as well. right? 63% of employers reporting it as a game-changing or very helpful. But on the other side, you see here, in higher education, a cornerstone of workforce preparation is falling behind. Only 3% of employers believe that higher education institutions are adequately preparing graduates for an AI-driven workforce. And it talks about how we need to change our approach. And like I said, this is probably not the first time that you are seeing or hearing this kind of things. Now, we cannot ignore, not only can we ignore AI tools, the society, has adopted it. So we have to somehow prepare. We can't be isolated. The purpose of university is to give back to society. And also we want to, educate our young, students so that they can make positive impact on society, right? So we have to somehow, change our approach, but adapt to it. So then, you think, or I thought I was AI literate, right? Or at least I am more AI literate than my students. But then, what is AI literacy, right? The employers ask for AI literacy, the teachers talk about AI literacy, but what is AI literacy? And recently I came across this LinkedIn post by this person who is executive recruiter. She puts it in a nice way, and I totally agree. So that's why I borrowed her wording. AI literacy is leveraging tools thoughtfully while maintaining human judgment. I think that's it. I personally agree with that. And then she also breaks it down to these 6 components, what exactly, you have to do to show that you're AI literate. And so, you can take a look, but then, understand what AI can and cannot do. It has a lot of bias, for example, or, there's things that the AI cannot really, be efficient. And using AI tools to accelerate work, not replace thinking, knowing how to ask AI the right questions. This is kind of prompt engineering. Understanding data privacy and ethical use. See, I understand the ethical part of it maybe, but then data privacy, I don't know. Demonstrating AI skills in real workflow. Yes, I use it, but can I demonstrate my skills in the real situation? Not sure. And staying curious and continuous learning. Yes, this part, I can push myself to do that. So I probably have it. But when you look at these key components, I question myself, I don't think I'm AI literate. And also, if you look at the leveraging tools part, I am not sure if I am leveraging this tool. I probably am not. But students are. But students are not doing it thoughtfully, maybe, or they are not, using the human judgment. So it seems like, it's not that who is literate, who's not. We all are learning together because we came into this pool or the sea into the water, all together. So, we have to really help each other or work together. I feel like it's not that, we're more literate than students. We have, something to learn from students as well. But then at the end, she puts a bottom line, which I thought was a good kind of judging criteria. See, your job is to show where AI has made you better. And after I saw this is something that I started thinking about. Okay, how does this AI make you better in any way? What is the gain that I can get from using this AI tool? And also what she says here, I think is, very true. right? AI is not replacing human, but humans who know how to use AI will replace humans who don't. Especially true probably for students, but professors or the university educators as well. You have to kind of adapt it to better educate younger people. Yeah? And so after I'm thinking about all this, or as I think about all this question is always there, right? AI in education, is it a friend or a foe? And I personally feel like it doesn't have to be a friend, but it doesn't have to be a foe, but we have to work together. And so I started putting my thoughts together. I really forced myself to, think how do you say, think in more organized way, because like my mind is like so messed up, messy in terms of AI and education. But I try to kind of force myself to think about, what is it that I keep to my like heart, right? And then these four things came up. In a sense, these are what stood out to me. So one is purpose. The second is ensuring learning. Three is the class time. And four is gains. So when I say this, what I'm picturing or thinking is something like this. The purpose, right? I have to have a purpose for using this tool, for example. And what does the tool enable me to do things that I can't do without, right? So it just as with, any education tools, you don't just use it just because it's there. You have to have a purpose to use it, so that you can use it better to do something that you cannot do without. Okay, it should be the enabler. And whatever that I'm having students do, I want to ask, is this helping the students achieve the learning objectives? That depends on how you set your students' objectives, right? If having output is your goal, that's the skill that students need to learn and students have to figure out or something like that. I may not care if students use AI or not. Once you have the product, that's a success, right? Or I want them to really learn the process so that, they can apply this to some other situation or some other products. In that case, if they use AI, that's undermining what you're trying to, teach them. So, depending on what objective that you have, but whatever that is, you have to ensure that learning is happening. And I found very, very valuable that we still have the actual class time with students, right? So how do I want to spend my time with the students? That's the third thing that I'm thinking about. In my class, I'll show you in a bit how my class looks like, but in my class, when I hear students talking about the concept or difficulties, that's how I can help them. So I really want to, instead of just telling them, okay, this is this, or this, about this concept, I want to hear what they're thinking so that I can guide them. And then the learning happens, in class. Okay? And that's really valuable now, even more, with the age of those new technologies and not just AI, but the online education and so on. And the fourth thing is the gain. So, what does this AI tool help me? How does it help me to do, the things that I'm trying to do better? Okay, so that's what is the gain for me by using this. So those are the four things that I am thinking about, and especially for the learning part. So this is my typical class look. These are all from different classes of mine. But in my class, I usually have students talk with each other, work together. I want to hear, listen to what they're thinking, how they're expressing themselves so that, I can guide them to the correct path, uh, to the to the understanding, I guess, the correct understanding. So I am always trying to listen to them first, and I adapt um, I adjust my learning, not learning, the teaching uh, flow according to how those students in that class at that moment are doing. And this, again, the human connection, when I talk, this is me, by the way, for those of you who couldn't identify. I go around and, talk with students, and then I keep asking questions. So why do you think that? Can you explain that to another person, like your friend? And like from there, I hear the dialogues, and then trying to figure out how to guide them to the right direction. And that's when learning is really happening, when students are struggling sometimes, but trying to really express their understanding of their ideas to each other. They're trying to justify and then see that their, model is not making sense sometimes. And then they have to modify their models. When they do that, that is the what's important in learning, I think. Yes, you can do that with good AI tutor maybe too, but first of all, typing and talking is very, very different. I'm still not very uh, used to, typing and interacting with AI, agent, whatever that I have. I want more conversation. And also, you can see still that this AI tutors or the current AI tool is not quite, there yet. Like you can talk and, explain your ideas, and, they can give feedback right away on spot. It's not like that yet. So, this human interaction is definitely something that I value, and they also value too. So this is another the survey results that is, yes, from 2023 to 2025. So for 3 years, they kept track of, they did the survey for 3 years. And this shows where students primarily turn for help when struggling in a course, according to instructors, this purple one, and according to students. So, from instructors' point of view, we think that, they go to people like peers or instructor most of the time. And, some of the time, the second most popular is the static resources, whatever that you provide in LMS or whatever that they can find on the web, some static resources. But we also think that more and more students are going to generative AI, for either ChatGPT or whatever is available, or, customized AI tutor could be. But that's what we think. But when you look at the students' results, you can see the decline from 2024 to 2025. And they interpret this as, over time, students may have found that generative AI tools are more difficult to prompt than initially thought to help explain classroom concepts. And, I think this is nice in the sense that they're realizing that AI is not quite, catering what they're looking for. And they are again kind of, hopefully coming back to human interaction. So that's what this survey shows. The workshop that I mentioned that we organized a few weeks ago was about learner-centered approaches. And again, I emphasize that, this human connection is really what makes learning happen, and, the efficient learning happens, I would say. So we always try to focus our, approach on the learner, not us, not what we want to teach. And this needs a little bit shift in the perspective of, university professors' point of view. And this is kind of, student-centered instruction in a nutshell, one slide summary. We tend to think, okay, I need to teach this topic, right? So what I want to teach, and we go into this lecture mode because that's how I learned as well as a college students. I went to lecture and then I listened to what professors were talking about, and then I practiced a little bit at home, but then in class I was there and listening to instructors. And because that worked for me, that's I tend to do that. But if I shift my focus to what students need to learn, you don't teach anything until students learn. So instead of asking, what I want to teach today, I started asking what I want my students to learn from this class. And when you ask a question that way, your role is not the lecturer, and your role becomes cognitive coach. You need to coach them. You need to show how you approach it, and you have to have them do. Coach never plays in the game. Coach is always coaching, right? Giving them training so that they can do well in game. So that's the shift from teacher-centered instruction to student-centered instruction. And we've been doing this for the last more than 10 years. And we see the results really clearly. We like it a lot because, now we see why students are having difficulties. Now I see, why they are not able to do this, but this, so you can see where students have not just difficulties, but how students approach to problem solving, for example. And then you can really, give them right coaching in a timely manner. And if you do that in class. So in the learner-centered approaches, you can engage students, but with the AI, being around, you can't really, always engage students, and that's the problem, right? Still, I would say it's the learner-centered, it's the learner that has to learn. And, we have to really empower the learners. They have to take initiative. They have to do it. And then we're just, we just step back, step aside, and let them try, let them fail even. But it's okay because they're learning. And if they fail, you have them think about why it failed, how it should have been done. And then that's, from there they can learn. So engaging students in the AI era or without AI, whatever it is always, it needs to be focused on empowering them. And this is the real students working. I gave them, to work on the problem. These are the real students working, and you can see like how kind of their they were enjoying it at this moment, but they're kind of, struggling, they're trying to discuss, and they're kind of having fun. And here is the image generated by ChatGPT. I just asked it to, generate a students group working on a whiteboard, like discussing each other, peer teaching. And after so many iterations, this was the best I could get. And you can see that, the AI tool can simulate human interaction, but cannot really, there's something off, right? You can tell right away. So, I think this kind of shows the limitation of AI, and the kind of awkwardness of, interaction with AI instead of, human interaction. But anyway, these are the examples that I tried that are learner driven, and I found it very effective in terms of students, learning from their feedback, and also the some of them are like exam scores, you can tell. But I don't know if I have time to go over all of them, but then, I just wanted to show, if you need more information, I can talk with you later as well. But the active involvement in class, definitely, like I showed in the picture. And to allow them to do that, we need to have, some sort of flipped learning or blended learning where students have access to those information or the concepts or whatever that the textbook, videos, reading outside of class, so they come prepared with that information so that they're ready to use in class. And there you can use AI support, or you don't have to create anything new, but then students can use AI to kind of clarify the concepts and stuff. I don't mind them doing that. But when you're in class, I do this oral review sessions, for example. This is an optional, kind of, it's an oral review session. So I ask them questions, and then they may work like this could be a snapshot from, my oral review session, for example. But students, talk with each other. I listen to them. And, from there, I keep asking questions. And then at the end, they have this like really a big aha moment. That's why, now it makes sense. Now I understand. I see that a lot. And because it's a voluntary session, for students and for me as well. But because I like it, I really see that it benefits students, and I get a lot of good feedback from students about how it helped learning better in many concepts. I keep doing that. And I also have an inquiry-based lab, physics lab actually, but I have them keep a logbook, and whatever the question, whatever that they want to try, they can try it. And then if they fail, they just have to write everything into logbook, and they have to interpret it. So it's a kind of environment that they can fail. I mean, they don't have to fail, but they can try and fail, and still it's okay. So I have that kind of lab design in my class right now, which students find very, very challenging. And, at the beginning, you have to guide them a lot. You have to give a lot of scaffolding, a lot of support at the beginning. But, in the end, like towards the end of the semester, they start getting the idea, this is what I have to do. And the one example that I want to show is this discovery journal. This discovery journal, I had them do it in the cosmology class. So they started with an article, like a magazine article. It's not very long, but it's a popular article. And, that article had a lot of concepts that they're going to see in the class. So, I had them read the article and just highlight all the concepts that they don't know. And as they find out, as they discover, those concepts, they can just add those. So like you may see like week 2, week 14, they're adding whatever that they found. And there's no right or wrong. This is your journey, your, learning journal. So I wanted to give them some opportunities to showcase how they're learning and what they have learned. And there, after the semester, I did some survey, and they said, this blue and red is the, strongly agree and agree. Many of them said they helped reflect on their learning, and also it reduced the stress because, there's no right or wrong answer. And also they were able to understand now the cosmology related magazine article better. And also it helped them engage in class much better, much better, or the better. Yeah. So this, I really liked it. And some of them, of course, used the AI to write, the entry and stuff, but most of them really benefited. I see that they benefited a lot. So since I'm kind of running out of time, maybe I'll just skip to this one. So I'm coming back to this now. Right, so for learners, ensuring learning and how you use class time, that is important, I find. But, we can also use AI as well, right? And when we use AI tool, we want to be AI literate, right? So we want to, always ask ourselves, what does this tool enable me to do? Something that I can't do. And also the game part. Well, how does it make me do things better? So these are the things that I found, that I tried to use AI as my helper for my teaching, not for, students learning in a sense, but for my teaching. And I found these, are kind of enabler for me. And also I can, do it better with AI. And again, if you want to discuss more details, if you want to, see how I'm doing it, I can give you, more specific examples. But like, for example, like this getting feedback and suggestions on my teaching, this has been really kind of wow, it can give me that much of, like to the point suggestions. I was really amazed. I tried it with Gemini, and I had a short recording of my class. And, when I upload it on the Google Drive, it just gave me automatically the analyzing the video. So I said, oh, I can analyze video. So let me just ask, to give me feedback. It gave me feedback on the context, how I behave. And also, I said, how can I make it more learner centered? And, it suggested me a lot of jigsaw, activity or think, pair, share activity. It was really kind of amazing. So, I thought it was, and it gave me in 30 seconds, really all those. So I thought it was going to be very, very, potentially very useful, which I want to try future and more. And also like simulating students' response to questions so that it can, suggest me some grading rubrics, especially for like essay type of question. Numerical questions are easy to grade, but then, the essay type of question is a little bit hard, especially for me to grade because I'm not a good writer reader in a sense. So yes, it gave me, a lot of help. So I'm kind of, doing it together sometimes. And podcast, infographic, video clips, those pictures that I showed you earlier, I wouldn't have been able to make that myself. But then again, I just ask it to make it, and then, that can make it. Notebook LM can create podcast and, the video clips just with one click, and their quality is not that bad. And also you can make you can ask for suggestion and learning activity, what to do in class when you put the learning objective. So this is what I want my students to do, to achieve. and it can suggest very good learning activities or scenarios or examples. So I've been using that a lot. And one suggestions that I have for it, especially for STEM, it doesn't have to be, but especially for STEM courses, you know, I want to share how we use AI tools. Again, I'm in astrophysics research, right? So in astrophysics, we use AI tools to do this and that. Like we can do a lot of data mining, for example, or the categorization, type of things. The AI has been, pretty helpful. So, those kind of advancement in my own field, I want to share students so that they can see, okay, in this field, this is used in that way, this way. And also, but we don't want to forget, and especially as a scientist, we teach the climate change, concepts as well in our freshman courses. And, there's some environmental impacts on those servers, computers, the energy usage and stuff. So that's something that, I always have it in my back of my head, but then I am kind of reminding students about it as well. But whatever that is that you do. So we talked about empowering, learners, but I want to empower myself as well. So AI should be really empowering you as a teacher as well. Okay. So the just want to wrap up with some tips and suggestions. Okay, so I want to use it, or I've been using it always, or whatever the level of your usage is. If you want to do something a little bit new or experimental, you can always start small and just do what you can or do what you do the best. I think you should always stick to that. And then like go a little bit outside of comfort zone, but always expect unexpected because there's always things happening, but it's okay. And you have to be persistent. This is one thing that I really want to emphasize, especially with AI. Like we're all new to AI. Students are new, we're new as well. So we have to work with students. But whenever we try something new, like new teaching methods or new, activities, we have to work with students. We can't be in mindset that, okay, I'm going to try this on my students. They're not guinea pigs. We have to, really work together and we have to improve it together. So that's one thing that I want to emphasize. And forming a support community, if you don't have any support community, in your local settings, we can connect as well, we can, connect online or, across country. It doesn't matter, but we need to have a community really to support each other. Just talking about it or sharing experience or whatever, but having somebody else, in the same situation really helps. So yes, if you want to contact me, this is my email address. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay. If there are questions from the participants, there are about 26 total people. Please raise your hand, or I think chat is also open. You may also write to chat. Yes, Tolga Erdoğan, my colleague.
Hello.
Yeah.
Tolga Erdoğan
Hello.
from TED University.
Hello.
Dr. Kaneko, domo arigato gozaimasu. What a wonderful presentation you gave.
Thank you.
My question is quite short. Do you think the universities or the institutions, the management, lead or prepare a framework or sort of a guide for the academic or ethical usage of AI in the courses? we saw an example I think you did yourself and shared with some
Mhm.
colleagues. Do you think there should be some principles? I mean, that will be instructors allowing or integrating AI in their courses and the others not. There could be some,
Sure.
yeah.
So yeah, thank you. That is always the question, right? And we are always wondering about it. If the university can give us some guideline, that would be wonderful. Yes, that would be very good. But from university administrative, point of view, you know, you don't want to dictate what you do and what everybody do in their class, right? So you don't want to limit either. But also there's so many, different variables that you cannot really, be specific, right? So all the guidelines that we have seen, like globally, it doesn't have to be just Turkey, but all the US or the European, those guidelines, they have, or EU even has guidelines. It's very nice, but also, so what type of, like I feel like, okay, so what can I do?
Mhm,
That's not clear, but also I feel like they cannot be that clear
mhm,
because of unknowns and because of the variables and um, maybe in the future they could be a little bit more guiding, but right now or maybe in the coming, I don't know, few years or so, I don't see, very specific instructions or guidelines uh, are possible. That's how I feel.
mhm,
And I was in one of the AI task force for creating the policy for our university. It's difficult because you can't say, okay, it's prohibited, for example, to share your materials. If I say that, if the guideline says that, there has to be some way to check it, for example, but you can't really enforce it. And, or like, if this may be okay in this situation, but, this is not okay in that situation. That really comes down to, kind of common sense plus ethical, practice, um, and the context as well. So does that answer your question?
oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Professor Baykas,
Yeah,
go ahead.
thank you very much. So I want to actually go right to the beginning, and then you said that like we try to in the AI age, we
Mm,
and our students should be curious, and
mm,
that's I feel that is mostly lacking in my students. So
mm,
they feel down and so on, and on top of that, I gave them a basic homework, and the homework says that like draw a circuit for such a such case, and the
mm,
answer is, oh, like connect the voltage source with the resistor, like there was a text. So
mm,
they basically copy it to the AI, and
mm,
without looking the answer, if the
mm,
answer is right or wrong, they copy it
mm.
back to the homework. So as grading with the students, does it help in such cases so that they don't do it again? Or what are your suggestions for both cases?
So one thing, so I set this inquiry-based, labs with logbook, right? So this is, they work on the experiment in class. And then last semester, I had them write, like a summarize, not summarize, but to complete the logbook outside of class. And that was a kind of mistake in the sense that, they use the AI to summarize, right? Which is not, wrong, but also, you can see the disconnection there. So what I'm always coming back to the time that I have with the students. So and I was able to tell right away, that um, this group really used AI because I know that they weren't going to be able to say this based on their data because I worked with the students in class. So I was able to spot those. But, if I had sharing platform, for example, you have to share your logbook with other, groups, or you have to showcase it. Then they may have been a little more careful in the sense that, what to put, what not to put. This is so like maybe, not peer grading, but, seeing other people's work may make them realize, this person must have used AI and that's why it doesn't make sense. Right? So they may realize, from their peers like that as well. So I was thinking this semester, what I'm doing with the logbook, they have to submit whatever that they have at that moment, like by the end of the lab. So I'm grading that and I'm grading the thinking part separately, the question part separately. But logbook is, logbook. And I'm thinking of kind of showcasing it later, with students' permission. Can I share this? Or maybe good example, like your group's logbook was really good. Can I share this with other students? And if you see others' work, maybe they will realize, this is what I have to do. Or maybe this is what I'm not supposed to be doing. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. So like, and I
Mhm.
was thinking that like I can do these things easily with the first year students, and then I
Mhm.
can make them AI ready or AI
Mhm.
sufficient. But like for the third and fourth year students,
Mhm.
I feel that they find the AI the easiest way to graduate, and they don't care much.
Yes.
So how am I going to push them? I have still some questions there. So if you have any suggestions for the third and fourth year students, I want to listen more.
So I did have two students, right, in my lab class, and I give pre-lab worksheets, and I'm not grading for correctness, so they can put whatever it should be relevant, but then they can put whatever the idea that they have, prediction that they have, and they can just bring it to the lab and they can correct it there within the lab. So I had them do that, and 3 times I saw two students, the pair of students, they always had the same answer, right? So then, I said, I didn't say anything. I didn't give any warning. But then the third time I said, I'm giving you 0 because this is not acceptable. And this is the third time that you guys are doing it. And then they complain, like really, with a lot of emails, like, you should have warned us. How would I know? All those things. And then I looked at their record. They're the fourth year, the last semester students. You know, they should have known by that time, right? So, there are students who came to that last semester, kind of getting by with all those things, I think. So in those cases, like I talk with students, but also I don't know how effective, that talking is. But, they're, I don't know, graduating. So I don't know. I don't have a good answer to deal with, but I have seen, students like that. But again, what I'm trying to do is to, when they come to class, if they don't come to the class, I don't know what to do. But if they come to the class, what I do with them in class, and if you can do the assessment in class somehow, I think that is the best way to best opportunity for them to learn better, and also that's more authentic in terms of assessing as well.
Thank you. Thank you very
So,
much.
yes, I don't have the good answer probably for that.
We are learning together, so it's the
Yes.
Yeah.
mutual.
Yeah.
I think that there is no exact answer, and as Tuncer said, I mean, we are all learning. I mean, we are struggling and at the same time learning. So hopefully we can find very good answers in the near future. Okay, so it looks like there is no other question. Okay, one last question. I think I saw one hand raised, but
It's me, Kürşat hocam.
okay,
Hafize.
okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
First of all, thank you for all this information. Actually, the research interests me a lot about the different years and it's both students and instructors. But I want to ask something different. Maybe it's not directly related to this topic, but I wonder about it. Hocam, what do you think about the skills that differ students a lot in the age of era? Like I understand that we recognize AI gives us as students the best solution, but I think it can really captured by instructors or other peers about the method. I think AI kind of generate generic answers. Both of us. And I really wonder about what's your point about skills that students make students differs among their peers or about grading their studies.
In terms of AI tools or like any just
in any
skills,
context,
human
like
skills.
both AI or not included AI.
So that also depends on if they are internally motivated or not. You know, of course, like the earlier question, you know, we need to have students. You know, students need to be need to want to learn, right? So that's one thing. But also the learning skills, those who can ask good questions. You know, I think that is what makes. I mean, again, you know, that's related to the motivation as well. But you know, those people who I see succeed, you know, after they graduate, for example, or you know, towards the graduation. They're the ones who can really, you know, take initiative as a learner. They own it. And, you know, when they do that, they start really asking good questions. So I don't know if that's a skill or it's a approach, attitude. I'm not sure. But yeah, the communication is another thing, you know, that a lot of employers are looking for a communication skills as well because, you know, this teamwork, for example, the one that's I'm showing here, you know, there are some shy students, they cannot really communicate. And it's okay in terms of learning, but if that person can, you know, really learn to communicate better with others, you know, that benefits everybody. And that probably benefits, you know, that person in the future as well, because you can't be by yourself in society, right? If you want to contribute to society, you have to work with other people. So that's one thing that I kind of not force them to do, but you know, I encourage them to express themselves, and you know, I try to make the safe environment where everybody is welcome to say something. So that may be, you know, one of the skills that yeah, that makes them different maybe.
Thank you, hocam, for your answer
Sure. You're
and for the
welcome.
presentation again.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Yuki. And I think this is the end of the seminar. So as I said at the beginning, there will be other seminars upcoming in this month and in April. So continue to following us in social media, in IEEE. And also another announcement. I mean, if you are not an IEEE member yet, please be a member of IEEE. Okay. Okay. Thank you, and have a nice weekend, everybody. Thank you,
Thank
Yuki,
you.
again. Yuki.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay.
See you.
Bye-bye.